Welcome to Audit Archive, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. Join us as we explore the laws, regulations, and violations showcased in First Amendment audits, police interactions, and legislation.
Before literally being blinded by a sergeant. On March 1st, 2023, a few officers from the Fairfield Police Department were carrying out a traffic stop involving a felon on parole who was allegedly in possession of an illegal narcotic. Officers on the scene were conducting a drug investigation when a man, namely Mr. George, decided to start recording the encounter. In response, Officer Nicholas Amavisca decided to approach Mr. George and immediately assaulted him just because he was recording.
Can I help you? Can we help you? You can go film all you want from down there. You can't stay here.
Do not shine that light into
You
my
can
camera.
go.
Don't touch me, dude.
You can go over there.
Don't
You're too
touch
close
me,
to
dude.
my partner.
That's a lawsuit.
You were too
That's
close
a lawsuit,
to my partner.
bro.
You need to back up.
Yeah, what's your name and badge
You were
number?
too
Do
close
not
to
touch
You
me,
can back
bro.
up. You want to go to
Call
handcuffs?
your sergeant.
You want to go to handcuffs?
Do
You want to go in handcuffs and go to jail?
I dare you.
You can go
There's
film
no
over there.
law that says I need to
Film over there.
Do not call your
Go
sergeant.
film over there. You
Call
are
your sergeant. Are you a supervisor?
7:15.
Yeah, call your sergeant.
You can go film over there all
You're
you want.
getting fired,
You
dude.
are too close.
You're getting fired. You know what your use of force policy
Can you
is?
respond? Can you too close?
Do you know what your
You
use
were
of
too
force
close.
policy is?
Back up.
Do you know what your use
You
of
want
force
to go to jail?
policy
You want to go home?
I dare you to arrest me, bro. I'm not breaking any laws. What's your reasonable articulate suspicion?
Back up. You were too close to my officer. Back
I
up.
can stand where
You cannot. Not
Public
when you're too
sidewalk.
close to me.
Public
Not
sidewalk,
when you're
buddy.
too close for our safety. You want to go home? You want to go
what's
to
more
jail?
important, public safety
You want to go home? You
or
want to go to
police
jail?
safety?
You want to go home? You want to go to jail?
Look at this, guys.
I don't care if
You're
you're
live
filming.
right now.
So are you. Back up.
Yeah, is your body cam on?
As seen in the footage, Officer Amavisca claimed that Mr. George was too close to the scene of investigation and hence ordered Mr. George to walk further away. However, this wasn't just a verbal order. We've seen how Officer Amavisca has already physically assaulted Mr. George a total of 3 times by pushing him away. It's also worth noting that Officer Amavisca has threatened Mr. George with arresting him if he refused to go home. Now, first of all, let's discuss whether Mr. George was actually too close to one of the officers, or if Officer Amavisca was simply using that as an excuse to remove Mr. George from public property just because he wanted to. As you can see from this snapshot, taken from Officer Amavisca's body cam footage, Mr. George was well over 10 feet away from the female officer. And what's important is that he was on a public sidewalk, meaning that he had every right to stand there and record as he wishes to. According to Policy 474 of the Fairfield Police Department's policy manual, it's very clearly stated that the Fairfield Police Department recognizes the right of persons to lawfully record members of this department who are performing their official duties. Members of this department will not prohibit or intentionally interfere with such lawful recordings. In addition, it's also stated that officers should exercise restraint and should not resort to highly discretionary arrests for offense such as interference, failure to comply, or disorderly conduct as a means of preventing someone from exercising the right to record members performing their official duties. Taking these official policies into account, let's take a look at what Officer Amavisca did in this situation where Mr. George was lawfully recording.
Yes. Back
You
up.
saw him touch me, right? You saw him touch
Because
me,
you were
right?
way too close.
Too close, bro.
Oh, really?
You can't be
What's the law?
walking. You can't be walking
What's
up
the
behind
law?
my partner. Whatever
What's
I
the law?
feel isn't safe.
Whatever you
Whatever
feel
I feel
is
is
safe,
which means you were too
that
close.
is not a law.
It
Give
is
me a
in my
lawful
book.
order. Give me a lawful
I'm
order.
giving you a lawful order to go over
Oh,
there.
because you're a police
I'm gonna
officer,
give you one
any
more
order that you
chance
say
to
is a
go
lawful
over there,
order?
or you can go to jail.
You're gonna arrest me?
Yes, I will
Call your
happily
sergeant.
arrest you. Go over there.
Call your sergeant. I'm not
I'm
moving.
giving you one more chance
I'm not
to
moving.
back up.
I'm not moving.
Okay, that's fine.
Don't f***ing touch me. Don't f***ing touch me. Do not. What are you doing, dude?
Give me your hands.
Give me your hand, bro. I'm not resisting.
Give me your hand then.
You are. I'm not resisting. I'm not resisting. Why are you
I got it.
You good? You're gonna lose your jaw. Do not turn off my phone either.
Gave you ample opportunity to leave.
I do not want you to search me.
You don't have a choice. You're in custody.
I don't have a choice. You're under arrest, bro. Lawful search. Really?
It's considered a search incident to arrest.
Yeah?
If you know your laws, you can check it out.
Oh yeah? What are you arresting me for?
Resisting obstructing an investigation. Sit up.
Oh really?
Yes, really.
Really?
What we've just seen is a clear violation of Mr. George's rights. Officer Amavisca, with the help of a fellow officer, tackled Mr. George to the ground just because he refused to move farther away from the traffic stop, even though he was on a public sidewalk. Apparently, he was now under arrest for obstructing an investigation and resisting arrest. One point to note is that the officers actively claimed that Mr. George was filming while standing too close to the traffic stop. However, there is no such law in California that places restrictions on how far one must be in order to record law enforcement. Under the same policy 474 we looked at earlier, it stated that recordings may be made from any public place or any private property where the individual has the legal right to be present. And since Mr. George was clearly on public property, he basically had the right to record from anywhere as long as he was not interfering with law enforcement activity. Anyway, going back to the body cam footage, as if this encounter wasn't already bad enough, Officer Amavisca quite literally proved that he was on a severe power trip and simply didn't like the fact that someone was recording him. Watch as Officer Amavisca claims that he runs the show while he's unlawfully searching Mr. George and taunting him.
Don't touch my camera. Stop. Do not touch my camera.
You're under arrest.
Do not touch my camera. Do not touch my
I
camera.
don't know what part of you thinks you run this show here, homie.
Homie. I'm not your homie.
You're right. You're not.
You're law enforcement. You're supposed to be enforcing laws, man.
I just enforced one.
What law?
Resisting or obstructing.
What law did I break?
I just told you.
What law is it?
148 of the Penal Code.
148G?
I didn't say G.
148G?
I didn't say G.
The one
Did I
that I'm
say
allowed
G?
to record the police?
Penal Code 148 makes it a crime to willfully resist, delay, or obstruct peace officers or AMTs who are performing their official duties. Doing so is a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in county jail and fines of up to $1,000. In this case, before anything else, it can be argued that Mr. George did not resist the officers while they wrestled him to the ground and placed him in handcuffs. In fact, Mr. George himself made sure to state that he wasn't resisting. Secondly, even if Mr. George was indeed resisting, we need to look back at the reason for the arrest, since if the officers had not tried to detain Mr. George in the first place, then resisting wouldn't even be in the equation. But when we try to identify the reason for the arrest, it appears that the entire detainment was unlawful from the get-go.
Bring your feet in your chest. Let me help you up.
Yep. You got my right arm?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Here we go.
Here.
Can you pull my mask down? Can you pull my mask down, please? For what? So I can see? It's blocking my face. Thank you, sir.
You have an ID on you?
I do not.
What's your last name?
I'm not going to give you my information.
Okay, that's fine. Let's fingerprint you. Over here.
You grab my stuff, please? You do know that you are paying this guy on violating my rights, right?
You understand that you get way too close, that's why you're here.
Way too close, huh? What's the law?
Face the car.
Do not turn off my camera. Do not.
Spread your feet.
What's the law?
I've told you about 6 times.
Resisting,
What is the law?
resisting, and
How did
obstructing
I
an
resist?
investigation.
How did I resist?
Because you walked up with an arm's distance of my partner to her back. That's not safe.
Okay, so that's a law? Why are you touching my wrist?
Because I'm trying to do something.
You're trying to get the camera off? You guys failed to identify. You
don't have to
wrongfully
identify.
arrested me. Yes, you do.
We're uniformed police officers in fully marked
How
patrol
do I know you
vehicles.
guys are not fake police? You have to identify. That's in your policy, bro. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for years, you guys.
Can you read?
Can I
Can you read and write English?
I cannot.
You can't read and write English?
Nope, but I know your policy. It's to identify.
So how'd you read the policy if you can't read?
Oh, I had somebody tell it to me.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Hey, what's your name? Sir, you want to go down like this, bud?
Put your hand on top of your head. Do not move it.
Yes, sir. My hand is on top of my head. I am not resisting. You guys' body cam's still on, right?
That's correct.
So look, I'm gonna give you one chance right now, sir. Your job is to when one of your coworkers, your police officer coworkers, is breaking the law and violating people's rights, you're supposed to stand up for the public.
There's not a violation of rights going on, I'll tell you that right now.
Really? You know what the First Amendment is?
I do.
Freedom of press?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an independent journalist.
Yeah. More stories, we got too close.
Really?
That's why you're in handcuffs. That's so funny. Have a seat.
He's on his way. Don't you worry.
As seen in the footage, Officer Amavisca tampered with Mr. George's personal property by turning off his GoPro and mobile phone, both of which were actively recording or streaming the encounter. Also, he stated that a sergeant was en route to the scene for further assistance. Meanwhile, Officer Amavisca's malicious intentions became apparent as he approached one of the suspects in the initial traffic stop investigation and questioned him while trying to convince him to act as a witness. However, Officer Amaviska's plan miserably failed when the suspect wanted nothing to do with the ordeal.
Sorry, bro, you would have been on your way probably by now, but since we got you here and you're kind of a witness, can I ask you some questions?
Oh man, I don't want to.
Totally unrelated to you.
I don't. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't want to do. Yeah, I didn't see nothing.
You watched the whole thing. You even told me. We
I was talking. Wasn't I talking to you?
You said you saw it.
It's on camera. We heard you.
Yeah.
How many times did I ask him to back up?
It's on camera, is it?
I'm asking you.
I don't recall.
Okay.
Soon after, Sergeant Franco Cesar arrived on the scene, and Officer Amaviska promptly spoke with him about the ordeal. Unfortunately, Sergeant Cesar was quick to jump to conclusions and immediately told Officer Amaviska to take Mr. George to jail without further investigating the ordeal.
We'll deal with that. You want to toss this? I'll talk to Franco. Are you good? Thanks, man. Yeah, we're good. So I got one guy in the back of my car. This guy's the driver. This other dude, Lauren's standing behind him. If you're Lauren, he's right here with this phone, right behind her.
Yeah, now.
He's in right this car.
How
Right
is he
here.
related to him?
He's not.
All right, take him to jail.
He just walked up. I pushed him in the
What's his
chest,
deal?
told him to back up. He says he's an independent reporter or some BS. I told him to back up, and I pushed him in the chest because you're getting sued. You're getting sued.
Okay.
I said you need to back up. I told him like 6 times. He
Is
didn't listen.
you need to go to the hospital? So when you do the report, obviously, you just talk about how the danger,
Yeah.
the priors on these
Yeah,
guys.
and I explained that on camera to him too. He's in the back of he's in this car.
You talk to him?
He was asking to talk to you.
While Sergeant Cesar made his way to the patrol vehicle where Mr. George was secured, Officer Amaviska resumed the traffic stop investigation, which was related to narcotics, as discussed earlier. Watch as he admitted that the suspect was in possession of a narcotic, but still let him go anyway after a verbal warning. So essentially, the officers let a suspect in possession of a narcotic leave the scene, while instead arresting an innocent man with a camera.
Step out, man. Sorry, it took a little longer. We had a little other stuff going on. I'm gonna take you to handcuffs, okay? I'm not gonna trip off what a little bit of dope fell out, alright? You can be going on about your way, okay? Just for your sake, if you're trying to stay clean,
Yes, sir.
off PRCS, I mean,
Yes, sir.
don't mess around with the dope. I'm sure you know that, but
The whole time I was going, my shit's
okay.
good, man.
Hand on top of your head.
Where are you even staying at?
What apartment number?
5. Who you staying there with? My pop. Pop was there? Okay.
Alright, man, you can put your hands down. All your stuff is up here on the hood. You can grab that. You're free to go.
Where's Big Mama at?
Mom's in Sacramento.
Oh, she was at? Okay.
You good, man?
Yeah, you're good to go, man.
Good to go.
Just make sure you get license plates in the car, alright?
Plates, man. I'm gonna get that thing stolen.
I'll be honest with you, man. It looks stolen.
Hey, boss, your keys are right there on the hood, okay? On the roof. All right.
You run them out yet?
No, I got to fingerprint him real quick. He didn't want to give us his name. Step out, man. You complain to the sergeant your cuff is hurting. Which side is that?
Left. This one.
Okay, turn it. Step to your left. Face the car. Face the car completely. There you go. You ever been arrested before? Okay, that's fine.
My ID's in my car right there. You like me to go get it?
No, you are not free to go.
Hey, if this car's not legally parked, let's tow it.
Which car is yours?
Which car's yours, boss?
I have another person filming up the street.
Which car is yours?
I have another person filming up the street.
Okay,
Find out
that's
his
fine.
name.
We'll figure it out.
And then once you get the name,
Sit up.
run the car's record, then if it's not legally parked, let's tow it.
This way.
My God.
Okay. We'll get it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Take a seat.
Ow. I need to see EMS. My head's hurting. Ow.
We'll take you to the hospital.
Barksdale. I'm like, what?
No.
Or Donnie.
Now he's claiming his head hurts, so I'm gonna take him to North Bay.
Yeah, look, shine the light on my forehead.
He's not giving you a name too, right?
No.
Shine the light on my forehead. Look, there's scratches.
And he popped up out of
37
nowhere.
around.
I thought he was just on a walk. So I was like, alright.
His head hurts because he caught an elbow.
Prospect is.
Was there 3 guys here already?
Yeah, I showed up.
Well, he,
Yeah,
he popped up out of nowhere as we're getting ready to toss the car, and then he just like walked up right behind Gomez. And
They were with the car. I was with the dude here and other dude.
He's literally like from you to her.
Now, this is where things got way too unbelievable. Switching over to Sergeant Cesar's body cam, it could be seen that he did not give Mr. George an opportunity to explain himself, and instead did something ridiculous. Sergeant Cesar turned his torch on and flashed it directly into Mr. George's eyes while keeping it just an inch away from his face. Note that Sergeant Cesar was there to assist and possibly resolve the matter, but what he did simply made everything much worse. In addition, he even admitted that there was no law pertaining to how close or far a person must be in order to record law enforcement activities, essentially admitting that Mr. George was unlawfully arrested.
Do I need to talk to him? He was asking to talk to you. How can I help you?
What's the rule, sir?
How can I help
Are you
you?
a sergeant?
Yes, I am.
Well, number one, these cuffs are way too tight.
Okay.
Number
I'll have them
two,
adjust that if they can.
number two, my rights were just violated.
Okay.
148G, California Penal Code.
Okay, that's good.
I'm allowed to film the police.
Yeah, but for a distance, right? These people here are dangerous criminals or have backgrounds that are pretty dangerous. The last thing they want to be doing is dealing with you, right?
What's the law that says I have to stand certain distance?
You got to stand. There's no law
Exactly.
to the
So
exact same distance, but you got to give them the space to work, right? You can't be doing this
Okay, so-
right on them, right? Right? It's the same
your
similar
body cam
situation,
on?
right? Yeah. You can't
Why
do
did you
that.
just do that?
Exactly the same thing, right?
Why did you
You
just
can't
do
do that when
Okay,
people
you
are
see
working.
You see that metal plate right there?
Okay, I'm not going to argue with you. You're going to jail. Okay?
What's your name and badge number?
Sergeant Caesar, 904.
Okay, and then
All
I
right.
need someone to bug.
Under Policy 826 of the same policy manual published by the Fairfield Police Department, it stated that, in dealing with people, employees must attempt to make their contact one that inspires respect for themselves as individuals and their profession, and on which generates the cooperation and approval of the public. Then, under Policy 1008, it's also stated that the Fairfield Police Department has a zero tolerance for retaliation and is committed to taking reasonable steps to protect from retaliation members who, in good faith, engage in permitted behavior, or who report or participate in the reporting or investigation of workplace issues. All complaints of retaliation will be taken seriously and will be promptly and appropriately investigated. Taking these two policies into account, it could very well be concluded that Sergeant Cesar was violating the departmental code of conduct by failing to diligently investigate an incident and rather escalating it by blinding an innocent person who had done nothing wrong. As of the date of this recording, Mr. George's lawyer has stated that the district attorney is pursuing the charges leveled against Mr. George, so he intends to fight against the false arrest. Be sure to check out
One account commented, trained to yell, "Stop resisting," regardless of what the suspect is doing. That way, it's recorded on body cams, and they can add that to the charges. A neat little trick. Another person. It's appalling how corrupt, egomaniac-minded cops treat citizens. If a dog was treated badly, you go to jail. Why do we even pay taxes for this tyrants? Lysager Afton said. They didn't tell him he was under arrest, and to turn around so they could hand off him. They just attacked him. They need charged with felony assault and false arrest. Another account. All those cops, including the sergeant, should be arrested and fired. Erase replied, they want to arrest a guy and want him to be a witness for an unrelated arrest. I don't recall. Oh, the disdain for the police. Lola.